How's it going, everyone? It's Juan Romero here from Switchwatch. I'm back with another review. Happy New Year to all of you. Hope you're not all depressed about going back to work or studying or whatever it is you have to now do. I'm back with this Hammerwatch review. Hopefully it'll cheer you up a little bit, get rid of those January blues. So let's not wait any longer, let's get into it.
Hammerwatch is a game that has very little story. In fact, its introduction is one of the most simple you will ever see and sets things off perfectly. Your friends are stuck over the other side of the bridge and you can't get to them and they cannot get to you. That's it. Everything else is left to your imagination and you start your adventure in the Hammerwatch castle, and your goal is, of course, to escape, unless you start off in the other campaign, which starts off in a very similar vein. The musical score here is excellent. The game starts off with a great dramatical piece which instantly draws you in as the player. For me at least, I could not wait to get started. Each of the two campaigns has a great piece of music which doesn't get too repetitive, and the survival mode and hero defense modes each have their own musical pieces as well. All were very good and slightly different from the other, which was great. The music in game was something I enjoyed, and it's something I would have expected from a more expensive game. In terms of the visual fidelity and performance, let's be straight, this isn't the prettiest game you're going to look at. Even compared to other dungeon crawlers, you could say there are prettier games out there for this sort, for sure. Everything is quite pixelated, and this will be either to your taste or it won't be, but certainly retro, old school, which for me is fine. I played hours and hours of dungeon crawlers in the past, so for me, unless you're comparing it to Diablo, the graphics are not really what you're going to be here for. The visuals do have some nice lighting effects, and the classes do look okay, and the enemy design is quite good as well, but being honest, everything is quite basic. The game certainly ran smoothly in both docked mode and handheld, whether playing solo or with a party of players. This is certainly not a game which is going to push the Switch. I should mention that there were excessive loading times. Certainly when playing survival mode, it took over 40 seconds to load, which is way too long for this type of game. I did also encounter some random crashes from time to time, and while not a deal breaker, can be quite annoying if you've not saved the game at a save point, as you will lose all your progress up to that point. So moving on to the most important part of any game, I believe, is the gameplay. Now this has quite a lot in common with games such as Diablo and Gauntlet, which are both games I loved. Diablo 3 is a game I played with friends often online, and this game should be looked at one as playing with friends, because that's how the game, for me anyway, is mostly enjoyed. Now over the Christmas period I had the pleasure of playing this locally with 3 other players, and then for a prolonged period with my channel partner James. There are 7 classes to choose from, and each have their strengths and weaknesses of course, and some are more fun to play than others. Each has a health and mana meter, which of course need to be topped up. You can choose from a paladin, wizard, ranger, warlock, thief, priest and sorcerer. Now I always enjoyed playing ranged classes like wizards or rangers, but that's just my personal preference. In this game the ranger is probably best for beginners and to play solo, as it allows you to take enemies out from further than any other class. Priests are great as long as you play in a party of players, as these guys are essential for healing up your party. You can of course play this game solo, and I'm certain some of you will enjoy it like this. Difficulty is adjusted dependent on how many players are playing, and you can adjust the difficulty as well if you want a sterner challenge on the title screen. I will say though that the game for me was certainly more fun in a party of 2, 3 or 4. If you're looking to purchase this for a solo experience only, then bear in mind it's quite a simple game made up of 2 basic attacks and can become more repetitive if playing alone. So it's way more compelling, this experience, with friends. Now each class has 2 basic skills, and one of those is usually a main attack, and the second, for example if you're a paladin, is a dash, and for the ranger it's the ability to leave a bomb which explodes after a couple of seconds. The beauty of this game when playing with pals is getting that balance of your chosen party and classes to fit together just right. You'll have a number of lives for the group, and if one of you dies, then the group loses a life, which is quite a good system, but can be frustrating with lesser skilled players. I'll give you an example. We had a player who couldn't figure out how to get past a trap, and unfortunately the whole group perished because they used up all of our lives. So that can be a little bit frustrating if you're playing with players that aren't the same skill level as you, so bear that in mind. There are 2 campaigns to choose from and 2 other modes, one which is survival, where you have 1 life to try and free the haunted crystal mines, and hero defense, where you have to defeat wave after wave of attack. Now these modes are nice to have once you've completed the 2 main campaigns, and can be played with friends also, which is a nice touch. There are also a number of NPCs you can visit throughout the castle, or the Temple of the Sun, which was the expansion added to this game, as it's been out on PC since 2013, so it's good that you get all this extra content on the Switch version. Now it's all about collecting coins to upgrade your character so they become stronger and more skilled. One of the mechanics within the game is the combo meter, which can be unlocked by purchasing it from an NPC. However, you will also need enough coins to buy the special power that goes with the combo meter. Otherwise, that combo meter, when you activate it, is completely useless. Now this system works fantastically well if you're playing solo, but in multiplayer it was a bit hit and miss, as the player getting the hits would activate their combo meter, while the other players would find it more difficult to do so. If everybody perishes in the party except for one player, they can still continue to play, and if they find some more lives, the rest of the group will spawn one by one dependent on how many lives they find, which is quite cool because it means that you can continue. Killing enemies is certainly satisfying, and at first there is little variety, but things soon get more interesting, and once you get to your first large boss, then the difficulty spike may surprise you. It does jump up in difficulty quite a bit, and my worry is that some players may give up at this point and might not want to grind all the way back to the boss. The controls here are of a dual stick nature. One is to move your character about, and the other is used for aiming. You use the back right trigger to shoot off your main attack, and the back left trigger to use your secondary attack. The controls work well and are responsive, and it's great that you can just pick this up and play without worrying too much about it being overly complex. Now for me personally, despite some of the issues mentioned, this game I enjoyed more so with another player who is of a similar skill level to you. There are traps to traverse and puzzles to solve together, as well as killing mini bosses, and larger bosses. There's secrets to find and 2 big dungeons to explore, which is going to give you hours of fun, especially with friends. It's not a procedurally generated game like others we've seen in the past, and so once completed you may lose interest unless you want to try a differing difficulty level, and if playing with friends though, it's always great just to load up and have a run, and you can especially do this if you want to speed run these dungeons as well. This game is priced on the money for me. For £8.99 or $9.99 there is no complaints here from us. If you enjoy dungeon crawlers and want to play with friends locally, then don't hesitate. There is an option for online on the menu, but it's not live yet, so it's a little bit of a tease, which is a shame, but then again it's coming soon and I can't wait to play this game with friends online. I think once this launches it will give the game an extra string to its bow, which will make it even easier to recommend. So coming on to our verdict, if you like games like Gauntlet or Diablo, like the idea of playing a dungeon crawler with friends, then this has a lot to recommend. Bear in mind a few things: it's a better game played with friends than solo, and there are some slight balancing issues, but these are small niggles in an overall impressive package which gives you 2 decent campaigns, a survival mode and a hero defense mode, all of the improvements made to the game since 2013, and an online mode which is coming soon. This one then is quite simply, for the price, too good to pass up. A 7.5 out of 10. If you enjoyed this review, please hit that thumbs up button for us, really helps the channel out, and if you're a new watcher here, then why not consider subscribing. We've got lots of other reviews on our channel like this one. For all of you existing watchers that continue to support us, many thanks, we really do appreciate it. Leave me a comment down below, let me know if you've already purchased this one, and I know it's been out for a week or 2 already, so you might already be playing this one, or if you want to talk about any other Nintendo Switch game, you know we do our best to reply to all of your comments. My name is Juan Romero, as you know, and I'll see you on the next Juan.